When I took office in 2012, the financial outlook for the city of Utica was very bleak. Our financial problems stemmed from negative fund balance, our credit rating was downgraded, our financial outlook was very negative. Our budget gaps were huge. First thing we did is we went and we met with this New York State Controller, Mr. Tom DiNapoli. We met with our financial institutes. We solicited recommendations to develop a plan that, as we see, brings us to where we are. The financial recovery was a 3-year plan. And in this 3-year plan, we have stayed the course to a recovery plan and made very difficult decisions. And those decisions were raise taxes, make cuts, settle union contracts, consolidate departments, and very importantly, increase economic development. Our spending, it's remarkable what we have done. We have spent nearly $2 million less than was spent 5 years ago. $2 million less today that was spent 5 years ago. We secured a fund balance of $931,000, $1.5 million surplus, and that was on the heels of a 1.4 and a 1.6 deficit prior to my terms. Our fund balance, which was voted on by the citizens of the city in 2004 to be at least 5% of the budget. And in 2010, it was mandated by the members of the Common Council that the fund balance be no less than 3% of the total budget. As we speak today, in 2013 and 14 budget, we have a fund balance of $3.1 million that gives us what the people have voted for and what the Common Council has ordained. From day one, our goal was to improve the city's financial health and implement responsible budgeting and keep our taxes as low as possible and still deliver the best services to the residents of the great city of Utica.
We've all heard the mayor talk of his 3-year plan to improve the city's finances, but actually the 3-year plan is part of a larger 3-pronged strategy to keep the city's finances moving forward. That strategy involves assessing, addressing, and progressing. He immediately directed me to produce a balanced budget using no reserves at all and a revenue-driven budget, meaning that we could only spend as much as the revenue we expected to get in. And finally, the mayor really clamped down on debt. We borrowed very little money, only borrowed for very essential items. The mayor has now introduced 4 consecutive balanced budgets. The mayor has replenished our fund balance. So the mayor's strategy to assess, address, and progress, has worked very well so far, and I believe it will continue to work well in the future. I've been an accountant my entire career. I'm a conservative accountant. I've been deputy controller for 12 years, and now this is my 4th year as budget director. And the mayor is doing exactly what I had hoped the leadership of the city would be like. He's doing all the right things. He's listening to the right people. We're moving forward. Well, I think what makes the mayor unique is that he's a very good manager. He addresses the issues, he plans things out, and he moves forward. It's very refreshing.
We have a very...
You know what? There is partnerships in order to make these hard decisions, and we all have come together. There's a lot of conversation, there's a lot of dialogue. We don't always agree, but I think you're starting to get the picture where the city is at this point and where it's going and where it was. We are in a much better position. There is that feeling of excitement in our great city. You just drive up and down Genesee Street, go to a hockey game, go to the Stanley, I don't care where you are, there is that optimism. But in putting a budget together, I think there's some things that need to be known. The public needs to understand what we can or cannot do. And when you look at a budget, 85% of our current budget is contractual. So other than cutting bodies, it's contractual. There's very little that you could do with that. And the 15% that's left, it's salt, it's fuel, it's equipment, it's supplies. And that's not even including the utilities that we are mandated to pay for. The lights, which would bring this not up to 85, close to over 92%. We made all the necessary cuts, and we can't cut ourselves out of this. We have to grow our way out of this, and we grow our way through economic development. It's very simple. You take the muscle out of the body, and the body falls. I will not allow the city of Utica to fall. I want to thank the members of the Common Council, because at the end of the day, you're going to be voting on the budget. And when you vote on a budget, you have to keep one thing in mind, and that's the residents. And that's the service that we deliver. And the service we deliver is going to be the catalyst for economic development. I want to thank the department heads for putting up with me, how intense I get, how passionate I am. I want to thank every employee, because with a reduced workforce, from DPW to the police, to the fire, to Corporation Council, to codes, I could go on and on and on. Everyone is on the same pace. They're passionate, they understand where we're going, and without a team effort, everything that we have accomplished would not be achievable. But more importantly, I want to thank the people of the city of Utica, New York, because they have brought hope back to the city. They understand the hard times, but there is that feeling out there at this point that the city's back. And the city's back because we're working together. And I'm happy to announce today that there will be no tax increase in 2015 and 16 in this budget year. As I said, you can't do this alone. It takes a team effort, and I think that we have assembled a great team to move the city forward, and I'm very encouraged of what the future is of our great city. So, motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.